chest heats up, you get a little hot.
Yeah, I'm a whiskey. I love the whiskey.
Yeah, whiskey.
You start giving me all that sweet and stuff.
I know.
I'll be perfect in that shit.
Yeah, but I mean, for all intents and purposes.
That's for after all. That's what most news anchors are drinking anyway, right?
Probably.
Yeah, they're just drinking. They're drinking whiskey. They're drinking tequila. Yeah, we got to get tequila because I'm a tequila guy. I won't really drink much whiskey. Like that, I'll drink because that's pretty easy. But I won't really drink much whiskey. Tequila though, I'll fuck tequila.
Tequila's good too.
Yeah, I'll fuck some tequila up.
I'm a sipper on tequila. Like, like rocks. You take rocks like crushed ice.
Yeah,
the agave, like the pure good tequila.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like quality. Like so, there's tequila and there's mezcal. Do you like a smokier, like a kind of a smokier taste? Really?
I think I like the plant, like really, that real kind of like greasy looking like tequila. That's like oily almost. Like it's almost like
you got a brand.
Thick.
Was that?
You got a brand that you like specifically?
I don't know, blue agave or something.
Clase Azul.
Yeah.
It's like a sweet bottle.
Clase Azul,
yeah, Clase Azul. It's in like it almost looks like a vase with like a dome top.
Yeah, that's expensive.
It is expensive, but I'll tell you what. Ready?
I bought that as a gift for a customer once.
Right? So it's like $180 for a bottle or something.
Yeah.
Costco. Their Añejo tequila, which is like $43, tastes exactly like Clase Azul Reposado. You know how I know that? Because I put that into a Clase Azul bottle, brought it, and people drank it, and were like, "This is delicious." I'm like,
you get the little lemon sweetener, and like just a little,
right in there, little. Right in there? Yeah. No doubt. So this is your first time in this office, though.
Yeah.
What do you think of it?
It's rad. I love this office.
I mean, compared to the St. Augustine office.
So this office is like vibey.
Yeah, right?
It's kind of like a little, when I go into the office in St. Augustine, it's like work mode.
You're right.
You can feel like it's plug and play, but you walk in here and you're kind of like, you haven't left home yet in a way.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
You got like your big cushy desk.
Yeah.
So, and it's funny you say that because an agent has said that was the opposite. Jacksonville agent finally had gone to St. Augustine for whatever reason. I think he had a closing actually at the 731 office there. And
we rolling right now?
Are we on?
I'm always if you're on the cameras, I'm almost always rolling.
Do you watch Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Who is it?
Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Older. It's been on
I
forever.
watched a little bit about that.
I don't know. One of the main characters, it's like, you're always filmed when you're in my bedroom. That's just immediately, you're like, I'm always rolling.
Ted Lasso recently.
Okay.
It's the only one I cried at the end.
Dude, my brother is obsessed with it. I haven't seen it yet. I don't know Apple.
Yeah, I'm a peanut butter. I bet if I'd been caught on camera like eating peanut butter at the St. Augustine office.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could take a spoon and just yeah. Sorry.
That's going to make a great one. Just completely out of context, too. All right. Well, we haven't done this.
Combo.
That's it. Exactly. We haven't done this in about, we'll call it 7 months, but we are back and no better guest than Andy Harris. Andy Harris just joined us. I mean, we're going on 10 days now, if that?
Yeah.
10 days now.
So.
Joined us from another brokerage. Been in real estate for a minute, which we'll get into, but works out of our St. Augustine office. Obviously, we're up in Jacksonville. We were actually just talking before Matt started rolling about the difference in the two physical offices. So it's super tight knit down there. Obviously, they're building the new one, Super tight knit. But you were talking about it's like work mode down there.
Yeah, and they are building the new one. We you know that what an inspiration, right?
It's a beautiful
change,
building. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
But a lot of the characteristics the new one this one has, I think. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. So this office is 8,000 square feet. It's tremendous, where the other one is not that at all.
I think it's like feeling like when you leave home. When you walk into work, you don't want to feel like you left home to go to work.
Yeah. But you're saying the St. Augustine office is different. It's like the library concept, right? Like you go to the library to do work, to kind of focus in.
But I mean, vibe happy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's business. So, and we get it. Plenty of business to get done.
But it's funny because you say, you're like, oh yeah, like it's business. You walk into the St. Augustine office, it's business. I mean, that makes sense. You have already executed a contract in your first 10 days of being here. Yeah, exactly. Let's clap for that. You already had shift, which we'll get into, but let's take it all the way back. You said you're Jacksonville, St. Augustine, North Florida native. Kind of like talk us through a little bit of your life.
Yeah, absolutely. Born and raised Pensacola Beach, Florida. Moved here in the 90s. Went to high school, St. John's Country Day School in Orange Park, Florida. Grew up in the 90s. Came to St. Augustine in the 90s. Knew after college I want to come to St. Augustine to work. I'm a product of the car business over here.
Okay, rad.
Mom and dad. My dad sold cars, was in the car industry, and that's my groove. For the last 20 years.
Okay, so born and bred salesman.
Yeah, more or less. It all comes from the heart,
Right. Well, right, yeah, but you just it's in the family, so it wasn't hard for you to get there. Yeah.
Oil is in the blood.
Yeah.
And so is real estate. My dad has always been into real estate, always buying houses, and eventually, now he is a real estate investor.
Okay.
So, I don't know where we're pacing, but yeah, native,
yeah, no doubt.
Native of Floridian. Kids are Floridians. My wife is a Floridian.
Okay.
Surf, beach, all
the whole
things
thing.
we've always been doing.
Now, your dad now is in real estate investing because you're in real estate, or is that
negative.
kind of okay?
I think I'm leaning towards what my dad's walk did. So,
okay, cool. Talk us through that a little bit.
Yeah. So, dad's successful car guy. Ran auto auctions and things, and then 60-ish, 55, 60, retired and got into real estate.
Cool.
And went in full time as a
license as a realtor.
And North Carolina's in Charlotte, North Carolina. So after
another booming market.
Yeah, booming market up there, and I was watching my dad have fun with it, and I've seen him just work so hard over the course of his life. I mean, don't get me wrong, we work really hard in real estate. But there's a whole nother genre of career and aspect that I haven't been tapped into.
Right.
And with the encouragement of my family and my dad, they all said, you can give up the car thing, and come to the dark side of the bright side.
It's hard. It's the bright side, but I mean, it's totally hard. I mean, people do that just kind of like normally with any decision. It's like they know what they have, they know what they know.
Yeah.
Taking a leap like that, especially, is super hard.
It's not the dark side. What I mean is like giving up on something that you know so well.
That's what I mean. You already know what you have. You know everything.
Yeah.
It's like now I got to go learn something totally different.
Yeah. And I mean, God bless. The ability to kind of to be in the home business where families are, you know, and you see your children and versus motor business. The motor business is so it's tailored so differently in a career aspect. It's real estate is so much more, I think, personal and relationship bound.
Right.
And there's so much business to be learned in auto and motor.
Right.
But real estate is just a lot more
rewarding
and local.
Okay.
You don't have to. Yeah, you just get to learn about where you are, love where you are, and love where you're with. Kind of love the one you're with.
Right.
Love the town that you're in, and it's just there's so much more that you don't know about your neighbor or these neighborhoods, and it's so rewarding.
Right.
To tap into.
Yeah, exactly. That makes a lot of sense. So, and especially because we do have a fair amount of people from the car business. One of our great agents, Tori, who's just one of the top 500 that was named in Jacksonville.
That's awesome.
Came from, I think, the Audi.
Congrats,
sphere.
Jerry.
Tori. Yeah, she's a killer. But
all right.
Yeah, it's she kind of mentions the same thing. Like the lifespan of, we'll call them a lead, but a customer is so different in the car business that you really only have such a little time. They talk about, in the car business they keep you. Yeah, they keep you in the thing as long as possible. They try and wear you down, all this stuff. She's like, for the most part, like it's like you have to learn about this person. Yeah. Then you have to be like, okay, well, because if I sell them a car that's not what's for them, the first person they're going to yell at is you. And at the same time, I have my own career and incentives that I need to.
We developed a system in our industry where I came from. It's called single point of contact, where we remove that long being held in the office to be sold things you don't want. And it's working with your one salesperson through the whole process of buying a car.
Cool.
But I knew immediately, like real estate, I mean, it's not going to be doing this. They're going to be dealing with me the whole process anyway.
Right.
So when I meet a new customer now in real estate, a new customer calling, inquiring about something, or I come across their number and I call them and check on them. Mm-hmm. And yeah, they are interested in real estate. They do want to continue to look. They don't have anyone that has been spoken to. They haven't spoken to anybody. So then I'll be your single point of contact for here on out.
Right.
May I have your permission to send? Can I send you my information?
Yeah.
And then they're all about that. And then the relationship is established. And there's no other question, and it feels so good.
So that's interesting that you kind of have that take, because that's a thing that we usually wind up having to instill onto people.
Sure.
So you kind of took the reverse approach because you came from somewhere else where lead generation was different.
It's what you can do and can't.
Right. Do. So now you're equipped with all these skills. So you plop into a place like this where you're like, I need to meet people, and they're like, here they are.
What can I do and what can we do? Yeah. What do I know we can do? And there's no limitation, really.
Yeah.
There's no like seatbelt. There isn't a
training wheels or anything.
Yeah, there's no wall that you have to climb to do. It's just it's open.
Yeah.
Create more of that for as many customers and opportunities, and always take them.
Yeah.
I guess that's just the
right. So let's talk really quick. Now we talk about training wheels and kind of seatbelts.
Yeah.
We obviously have a robust training program coming into this.
Sure.
You breezed through it probably because you had a ton of the knowledge, but specifically you probably understand. You're like, okay, this is something I can return to. I just need to learn how they do things.
That's some training.
What would you say was the best part of the training, and then what was something that you plan to totally revisit?
Yeah, absolutely. Peaks and pits of training, right?
Yeah, right.
Well, by all means, it was all a peak. I mean, the training really was solid. I was really impressed. And I went home and told my wife, I said, babe, they have spent so much time with like putting the ducks in a row.
Yeah, have to.
And I mean, hey, hold on. There's a whole nother layer after this conversation about training that still goes on with the onboarding. And there's a lot of information, and you have to be patient and listen to it. And, sometimes the old rule of thumb is I don't need to hear this again, but it's here in front of you. So, and you're new, let's listen to it. Let's see what they have to say. And I did, and I took the approach of like relearn and like take what they did. And these guys took their time to put this on camera. To train us, to tell us something, have some respect and show it to them, and listen. Even though you may have heard these steps, so much information I didn't, but the articulation of the time that they take to put on video, to walk through, and actually, describe it's like reading a book. You can hear the story in your brain, you can see the picture, but but it's the person telling you. Right. It was that clear. It's an education, it's a direction. You have to sit and you have to embrace and welcome it into your life, because if they're going to be successful and they want you to be successful, they would have never taken the time to put it on a platform video, of this nature. It was impressive.
Yeah, that's actually a good interpretation, because we do kind of get that a lot. We have agents who come from, outside of our sphere and outside of, this brokerage that come in here and say, well, I have, 5, 10, 15 years experience. I really don't need training.
Right.
And the funny part about that is exactly what you're saying, is like most often it's not about real estate is the training.
Yeah.
It's about how to maximize your time in real estate by doing all the things that real estate requires.
That's so true. That's a really good example of that. And I have another example to bring to the table when you're mentioning that. There's a part of the training where they want us to write a contract.
Yeah.
And it's simple. I mean, most of the contract is filled in of the way that we have them designed. And they give us, the specifics, the home, the address. And I, of course, myself, I don't want to take the time to write the contract and send it through our platforms.
Right.
So Brittany, across the room in St. Augustine, turns her head and goes, "Hey, Andy, did you do the contracts? Do the contracts and send them over, Andy." So
this is a kick in the pants.
Yeah. So again, like full on shame on me again for lowering my own guard of what. And sure enough, I needed to go through it. Right. And I'm so glad she did, because I wasn't testing anybody.
Right.
But they weren't testing anyone either.
Right.
And they're like, hey, we are in and we love you. And we want you to know that each and every single time you write a contract, we're going to back it though. We're going to protect.
It goes through a quality process. Yeah.
It's a quality process.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, it goes through a quality process between our compliance department, your TC looks at it, your leader looks at it.
Yeah.
And it all starts from you.
It was
and
pretty cool.
The goal is literally for you to be able to write a contract, somebody look at it and be like, yep, good. The next person goes, yep, good. And you are under contract, which
that's an old phrase in sales. It's the speed of the sale. You know, the speed of the sale is like what drives business. I mean, that can make or break business because speed can also break down quality.
Yeah,
sure, right? But when you have the people in place to process the speed of the sale, you know, by looking at your contract, like when you write the contract, you'll send it in for review, and immediately, you know, it was back with audit. I wrote the contract that I just wrote recently, so real life example. And I had 5 things that I needed to fix, but it was back and it was quick, and I fixed them and I sent them back and it was under contract, and then the team took over it. I mean, I don't know.
But isn't that incredible? Right? That's incredible. And then obviously coming from, so normally at your old brokerage, you know, omit name, but at your old brokerage, at what point would you have found those 5 mistakes? Like what part, like where would those have come up? I don't know what the mistakes were, but like.
Sure. Hard knocks, school of hard knocks. We would have figured it out. There could be like, you'd write a contract and then send it to someone for a signature. And then, you know, that broker at the time who's on the job might review it, you know, when he's able to, and then, you know, mock it up and tell you exactly what he suggests you do.
So it's a completely different process that you were just, I guess I'm gathering is you're just shocked at how quickly you were able to get to where you needed to be.
It's hard to trust people to in your success, in your own success. It's so much better to self-educate.
Right. Okay.
And learn the right way. But there's so many things legally that when you're working, like who can you go to trust to get answers that are confusing on a contract?
Right.
And they're expecting us to be confused is what I loved. And there was no condemnation or any
judgment
or, you know, and I don't have any pride in my error. Like,
but it wasn't like, hey, idiot, you messed this up. No, it was like, hey, man, we need you to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And
it was done with kindness.
Perfect.
Kindness. And the whole thing about the one layer that I was going to add to this is the kindness of being onboarding from Olivia, the first day of walking in and taking use of my time and sitting down and actually getting me through the program actually got my attention. And it told me 2 things. Like, she's busy and means business. And she actually thinks that I'm busy and I'm meaning business. Yeah. And she's gonna offer and treat me and take care of me as if I am one of us in the DJ&Lindsey team, meaning business. Yeah. And I could sense that, and I appreciated that. So every time I opened up the video, I actually remembered that too, and down to the detail of finishing. And then, you know, MLSs. Have you ever switched an MLS from like a broker to a broker?
I haven't. Is it not?
I mean, if you have ADHD and circle conversations as bad as I do, and you know, fret over the small things that mean a big deal in real estate, right? Yeah. I hate being late to church. Like, there's nothing worse than being looked at weird like that. Right. You know, so bring that principle into the business of real estate, and it is all that in a bag of sauce. Wow. Well, the kindness of the team that they put together to actually transition and bridge from leaving a brokerage to coming here, I didn't have to think about it. They did it. They actually thought about it. They think about that. And so they came to my table like on afterwards and had a program checklist. It was like, is this working? Open it. Show it to me. Is it on your phone? Yeah. Oh, I said, yes, it is. Cool. Okay, well, does it work? Yep. Show it to me. The Supra, like the key thing. Yeah, it's working. And then I had to remember, you know, who does this? Who actually goes down and makes sure your MLS, your dot loop, make sure that your the communications send the you know, the practice communication. Make sure it's working. Right. Because who likes to be left out? Yeah.
No,
not many people, I don't think.
No, I mean, you bring up a good point, and it's a lot of we hear it a lot. We're like, the training was incredible, it's all this stuff, but you're actually highlighting a lot of really good things that we don't hear a lot. Is that as fast as it was, because everybody comes here and they're like, oh, like they give you leads, like that's why you guys transact, and you guys have so much business. It's like, well, you say that like it's a bad thing, but I think what you're highlighting, which I love, and it's a totally new perspective, is that yes, it happens fast, but the quality in which it happens is really good.
Correct.
Right? You're not just like, hey, Andy, you have a phone? Great. Call these people, and then if anybody wants to buy real estate, just say that you'll do it, and then it's fine.
Not hardly.
Yeah.
Yeah, not hardly, really. And I think they don't want that.
No, it's a mess. Yeah, it's a mess.
It's a mess. Yeah. Well, and it's hard to organize so many things. They have it down to a science. It's like Publix when it comes into like onboarding.
Right.
And if you're not satisfied with your experience, they'll give you all of your money back. How about that? There's the door.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
No, I mean, no, it's totally true. And that's why, we kind of, so we obviously we have this new fee that we started bringing on is because it's kind of like a point of entry, right? Like you were saying, it's like, hey, we're dedicating
I shared
our
this
time.
fee with my sister. My sister is in the auto industry still, and she's like she's a really cool sister, like cool chick, man. She advises so many auto people, and she's just like on these startup companies. So I was like, hey, Les, I don't run this by you real fast. Like, I'm gonna switch this brokerage. Like, my wife's been pissed that I didn't join this company a year ago, and
that's all right. We got here.
That's a whole nother subject, though. Why? Anyway. So I was like, Leslie, all right. So, went over this fee, right? The fee of entry. And, man, I had no problem with the fee whatsoever. I was like, but they have this fee because, and she's like, man, that's just rad, Andy, because they want the best of the best. If they're going to put in their time to do this, that's so cool that they're actually trying to, rat out who wants to be successful. And put in the time. It's kind of like, like your ante or your buy-in in a way.
Yeah, that's literally what it is. And the best part
is, why don't I give you $5,000 then?
Well, because that's the thing is it doesn't go directly into anyone's pocket. It goes actually towards the infrastructure and systems you need anyway.
Yep.
Which we already front load. That's massively subsidized.
Yeah.
But it was the fairest way we could figure out exactly what you and your sister are saying is.
Yeah.
Are you serious? Are you even financially dedicated to what you're telling me?
Right.
And again, it's not
Smart,
like $5,000.
savvy.
It's not a heavy lift, right?
No.
It's $700 in the grand scheme thing, especially with executing contracts and the money you can make. It's not very much.
It's not very much in the scheme of things. And it made me appreciate. And actually,
right.
It wasn't really spending the money or anything like that, but it actually vested my own self.
That's exactly.
And I actually was really surprised by that part about it. It did wonders, I think, mentally too.
Sure.
About being genuine and true to the craft. I think, I don't know if the path would have been any different. Who knows?
Right.
But it doesn't matter. What matters is what, we can learn together and work as a team, because I know the money that they're putting in for me is a whole lot greater than, and I know we'll pay back exactly what we're in business together for. So
yeah, no doubt. And actually, I love you use that phrase, business, in business together, because that's effectively what it is. I mean, right? You see all these ads online, you see all these things. It's just like, don't pay until closing. Do that. I mean, that's effectively what this model is. You don't pay until closing. You're not like, hey, Andy, you just had shift, which I want to get into next.
Sure.
Is, hey, you just had shift. You took 10 leads. All 10 of those leads amount to, $18,000. Like, we need you to pay $18,000. It's like none of that happens.
No, yeah. And this is not like, what have you done for me today business. Like the automotive is. Okay. What have you done for me today to get, to be here tomorrow?
Yeah.
It is not. It is more like, here's the schedule we encourage you to follow and do so you can be absolutely successful amongst your possible expectations next week by living this schedule.
Right.
Be practical today. Take it for what we're saying. And that's all that they want. It's not what you have not done for me today. It's what are you not doing for you today? Because if we don't do these things as a team today together, then we won't have anything working next week. So everyone in real estate knows that, the big boys
you nailed it.
Do it. So
yeah, you nailed it. I mean, that's really it. I mean, there's nothing, and it sounds terrible, and we say it all the time, and it almost seems like we devalue the own company, but it's like, there's nothing crazy being done here.
Yeah.
What's being done here is consistency.
It's consistency.
That's it.
That's it.
It's not like, I can't do that because of, it's like anybody can do this. And DJ has said it. I mean, I'm sure you've known DJ for a while.
Yeah.
DJ's like, I will take anyone's brother, uncle, grandmother, and I can make them successful because I know that if you just do these things, it will work.
It will.
And it's not like,
true.
It's not like, oh, well, I can't play professional basketball. I'm too small. Your physical, nothing matters other than do you want it or not?
Do you want it or not? Yeah.
That's
true.
That's awesome. And it's great. It's refreshing. And it's great for you to, you telling me this because we think that and we live and breathe that.
Right.
But it's great to hear that. And we do hear it often. I mean, it's great. The amount of people and the group we have now, and we're always building, but the group we have now is so solid. I mean, DJ just said this morning, we've sold 75 homes in like the last 2 weeks.
It's impressive.
It's wild. And you're one of them.
Yeah, right on.
And you're one of them. So let's talk about shift and let's talk about your executed sale already inside 10 days.
Okay.
So you had first shift, what was it, this weekend?
Yes.
Kind of like nervous, like you were like shaking your boots or what
yeah, absolutely. No. They offered up a couple of shift spots were available. It was Super Bowl weekend, and then so by nature, it might be available.
Yeah.
And so they were available, and I took them immediately.
Rad.
And Saturday, it was Saturday shift. It's shift 4 hours, taking inbound calls, and the calls there were so many of them, and there are 3 people on shift.
And you guys are still...
Yeah, we're still
drowning.
Still drowning. And got a fair share.
Yeah.
Had 3 appointments Saturday night from 3 to 6.
Wow.
And I was hustling.
So you went right off shift, right to the appointment.
Right off shift, right to the appointment.
My man.
And then Sunday morning had it under contract. It's pretty rad.
Yeah. You call your wife, you're like, hey, so here's the deal.
Yeah, the other 2 were still working out. It was like other funny stories. Seller pulled it off the market when we showed up, but met 2 other customers in the process, and just super, super cool. Like, you can't even make this stuff up.
Yeah, and you onboard on Wednesday of that week.
Yeah.
Wednesday of that week.
Yes.
Cut to Thursday, Friday, Saturday, day 4.
Yeah.
You met somebody.
Yeah.
Wrote up a contract on day 6.
Yes.
Day 5, sorry. Day 5.
Yeah.
4 to 5.
Yes.
Wow. That happens all the time here, folks.
Yes, and you know what was on my mind was Brittany going, hey, Andy, write those contracts. No, okay, note to self, okay,
Right.
because when we wrote the contract, we need to send it through our process here. It's just, write the contract and then email it over, a checklist.
Right.
And a question, it's foolproof for us because we're all working together.
Right.
It saves the phone call of explaining so much information to anyone else, especially a title company. It's really genius. It's really, really smart.
Right.
Like I'm really impressed by that.
Right? Isn't it wild? It's
cool.
crazy because we're sitting here and we obviously talk about it all the time, but we're sitting here, we're like, are we crazy? Like, are we just like crazy? Like that we built like all this cool stuff?
It
and,
is some infrastructure of infrastructure. It is the bones of a
giant
badass little business building. Yes.
But it's wild because we sit here, we attended Rebar Camp and it was fun and interesting. But the whole time we're sitting here, we're like, a lot of this stuff it's not that it doesn't matter, but like, you don't have to like, everyone's like worried about all this stuff. I'm like, guys, this is like totally solvable, but has been solved in your market already. You don't have to do this if you don't want to.
That's a good point.
And that's like, like I said, we're just sit around sometimes. We're just like, are we crazy?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, maybe there's something wrong with us. And then like, obviously we go back to the drawing board. It's like, I don't know, looking at a mathematical equation.
Give me an example? Like what?
All right. So people are talking about, so Matt and I attend a lot of the marketing stuff because we're in marketing. Mm-hmm. And we're sitting here and we're going over why this video software is better than this, or like, how can I do this? And everybody's like, oh, like you're not online making content. And I just raised my hand We weren't loud at all. And I just subtly raised my hand. One of the guys brought it over. And I was like, a lot of people are asking, why aren't you making video content? Or why aren't you doing open houses? Or why aren't you doing this? I go, and everybody's like, oh yeah, go to ChatGPT for good ideas. And I'm like, I think you guys just need to ask yourself the question, why are you doing all this stuff? Because if you knew why you were doing it, it would be easy to do the things that you're trying to think of.
So true.
So if you knew why you were doing it, you would do it. So in your case,
true.
You're like, I know the contract. I don't need to do it. Brittany's like, hey, kick in the pants, write the contract.
Right.
You did it.
Why? Because you're going to be writing
2 days later, you wrote a contract.
Yeah,
it's like once you knew why you're doing something, it's so easy to do it.
Exactly.
And the reason I bring that up is because, yes, it's great to be on social media, and yes, it's great to do all these things. The longevity of that and the reality of that is so glim, right? Like we have somebody like I don't know if you know who Glenda Baker is. Glenda Baker, very famous real estate agent, but blew up on TikTok all of last year and the year before that because she was making all this storytelling content. Really big hook of like, one time I sold a really big house, and then that was like her hook. And then she told how she sold a really big house, took all her commission, bought shit that didn't matter, and had nothing to show for it when she wished she had bought real estate. So she, whatever, she blows up on TikTok. I don't know any of this to be certain, but I would love to see how her business exploded, or if she has something else outside of real estate, i.e. like it's a training platform or it's like a consultation thing, because rarely, and we've said it forever, it's never like I'm scrolling on Instagram and I'm just like, you know what? I am going to buy that $700,000 house. I'm going to call Andy because he just posted a reel of him pointing to words on screen,
right? Or
him shaking his butt in front of a house. Like it just doesn't happen like that, right?
Right.
All the large leaders and lead magnets like Zillow, Realtor.com, OpCity, Homes.com, they rule the internet because they take all of their marketing funds and put it directly in the customer's face and say, hey, look for this here.
Yeah, sure.
And then what we do is we say, hey, what do you do with those people when they're like, I want to buy this house? They're like, we'll give it to you. And then you can show them the house. And then we'll just split it. And we're like, that's a great idea. Why don't we do that?
Yeah.
Right. So it's like,
and
we're not
wildly successful connecting.
Right. And it's not, I'm not, and I always try and say this, I don't try and shove like, oh, you don't need to do this, like get off social media. It's like, we make all these social templates and all these other marketing materials for you guys to showcase how good you are at what you do and to help you do what you do. It's not, hey, if you didn't pick up the phone and talk to anybody tomorrow, but you posted this on social media, you'd be a gazillionaire. It doesn't happen.
Right, so true.
And it's really hard. We try and not like break it to them that way, but we try and be like, yeah, it's not like that. I would love for it to be. And if it were, I would be standing right next to you and be like, this is how we're going to do it.
Yeah.
But I'm standing here saying like, this is actually how we're going to do it. We're going to use those things maybe to amplify it or really show like your sphere and people who you love. But it's not like that. And that's why it's
I agree. But there's a degree of passion you're talking about too.
Absolutely.
And so like that passion, the passion of having to want to, like the why of why everyone else in here, including our leaders, have their head down between 9 and 11 to lead, right?
Yeah.
Because they have passion of wanting to get to somewhere else, right? I mean, and then mix in, discussion and media and social media and fun videos. I mean, I feel like I'm a pretty passionate and emotional guy at times, and I'll try to dance in front of a home that I'm selling.
Sure. And I don't hate it. I'm just saying don't put all your eggs in that basket and wonder why the phone doesn't ring.
Exactly.
I said do it. But
exactly.
You gotta
but I'll
do the
still
work
be
too.
at work the next morning.
That's what I mean. You got to still do the work too. Yeah.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah.
That's a really good point.
And that's what I like I said, I don't tell people don't do it. Right. It's great. I love it. I'll do anything to support you doing it, but don't think that that's just the end all be all.
If that person could go directly to the home and just look at it themselves, they would. So knock on wood that, us salespeople are continuing to foster the relationships of protection.
Right.
Because, the buyer needs protection. The seller needs legal assistance.
Yeah. No, that's a huge point because it has kind of gone there, right? With the new real-time tours that Zillow's rolled out where, people are literally pinging you on shift saying like, hey, I want to go see this house at 3 p.m. You're like, all right, meet you there. Right. We're gonna buy this thing or what?
Right.
It's gone that way, but you bring up a good point. Is the realtor's there for protection, not just to snake snake a deal. It's like, yo, I'm here to protect you. And that's one of the things we always tell, I've agents come in all the time and they're asking me questions about left and right. And you asked me, are Matt and I licensed? I was like, no, but the things I know about just sales, conversation, and marketing is if you go to somebody, let's say you're trying to get a seller, if it's in your own neighborhood and you want to sell their house, I said, why don't you just say that you have a buyer and that if you were to bring them the buyer, be like, hey, I have somebody who wants to buy your house. The only problem is that I have zero obligation to you. I am going to, because I'm bringing the buyer, I'm going to work my tail off and effectively I'm going to do anything I can to get this house at the smallest point and or more or less screw you over because I have no right? That's why you need a realtor.
Yeah.
That's literally why you need a realtor. I go, and if you just explain that to them, they might just be like, oh, well, maybe I do want you to protect me.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
It's like, it's not snake. It's just like, just get them to realize that's what the realtor does. It's I'm here for you. I'm not here for me.
Right.
Like, yes, I'm going to pay myself in the process, but this is what my goal is to protect you.
Absolutely.
So this is one of your biggest assets that you could physically own, could make or break you. And if you're just like, nope, I'm just stick a sign in the yard, someone's going to buy it. I'm like, you literally could have just left almost a third of your.
There's so many elements to articulate, that only a person they can actually bring value to, and not everyone will work with everyone equally, but there is someone that can be trusted to work with that individual. And so you never know who those relationships are. Right. And we'll not be able to serve everybody. Right. As much as we always want to, and that's okay too.
Right. And I think that's right too, is knowing where the value of your own time is and maybe the value of somebody else's.
Right.
No, that's great. On shift and on what we're kind of talking about is you just had your first shift pick.
Yes. Yes.
Literally just before this.
Yeah.
Let's kind of talk us through that. So like, how was that? Cool. Hectic, obviously, like, or super organized?
Yeah. Everything's been kind of a learning tool for me because, I'm sharp, but I'm new. So I'm still a new guy a little bit. No, and it's fun running around like, hey, what'd I miss? What'd I do? And everyone helping. Yeah. Because that's kindness. I mean, no one has bled anything different around here.
Right.
So I can expect that, and it's been so fun.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. But shift pick.
Okay, like, shift pick.
Head spinning
Rad is coolest. No, not at all. So shift pick, I guess they go off of closing ratios or whatnot, right?
It's conversion metrics, yeah.
Conversion metrics. So like, can we talk about like the 3 levels that they have?
Sure. Yeah, you can
just lightly, I guess.
It's just broken down into 3 sections, just so
bronze,
that like
silver, gold, right?
Right. Well, just so that we don't have like a zillion people
sure
picking at once.
So I guess that the metrics are if you close like if you're closing hot and heavy, you get gold.
Sure.
Right. And I guess it's like a few more than silver picks. Right. And silver's just a few more than bronze. So it's not like a huge spectrum difference. Right. That I learned too. It's not like if you're in the bronze section, you're just like you're from the bronze age of selling either. Yeah, right. And then the silver section doesn't make you much better than the bronze, and the gold, you had a good run. So even I saw some really good agents in the bronze section. Mm-hmm. They've just been busy. They've been busy selling real estate, and they didn't get to convert a lot of the things that were given to them. Yeah. So I got that right off the cuff as like, if I'm in the bronze, how will my ego feel? There isn't any. We're all aspiring to be gold members. Yeah. Gold member.
Gold member. I love gold. I love gold. But you bring up a good point. It's literally just a delineation.
That was the first part of the pick, yeah? Yeah. And so I landed silver in the first week. Yep.
Well, because
I caught one under contract.
3 leads and converted 1, so 33% conversion, pretty good.
Yeah, and I know what I need to do to keep up with it. But so there's 7 picks. I got a handful of picks, 7 picks in silver.
That's dope.
And then at an email came out to all of us in the group a few days ago that said, on this Thursday at 12 o'clock, you will have your shift pick. And there's an array of shifts from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Mm-hmm. And it's a 2-week shift. Yeah. And so your 2 weeks are laid out and the time slots are just there, right? So when it was my time, at 12 o'clock, we had a brief meeting. They organized it perfectly. 15 minutes before the pick, we're all on a Zoom call and they're all like, yada, yada, yada. Here's what we're going to do. Good job. And And I was sitting in the wrong call. I was actually in the bronze call because I'm new, and then I'm sitting. It's 11:15. I'm like, when is this gonna start?
Yeah.
And then Sean said it already ended. So, and I was hanging out with the bronze people. So I called my team lead. Fun story is all. Anyway.
Yeah.
I'm rambling.
No, that's the point. We want to hear your experience because that's the point is
cinnamon coffee.
Yeah. We always try to get people to look in and really, and now with, a cost of entry, it's really hard to get people to show, hey guys, it's not this big bad wolf you think it is.
No.
And I think you've done a great job of that. You're kind of ironing out like all these things happening.
Yeah. And I'm just having fun at the moment.
Yeah.
But the shifts were easy to pick. I've got a family of five kids, busy wife. She works full time. God bless you. I love you, my wife.
Shout out Andy's wife.
Love you, baby.
Yeah.
Love you, Tara. Love you, baby.
Shout
love
out
you,
Tara.
baby. She's working. We're working hardcore, and so like the schedule, track meets, football games.
Yeah, right.
Sometimes you got to work on the days that you don't want to work. Sometimes, so like having the flexibility of 2 weeks to actually pick out those time frames and slot them perfectly. Family's everything to me. And I think that's a big thing that a lot of people fear is like, how much time am I going to give up for myself to what's important?
Yeah.
But when you balance the equal, it's so important for everyone. I've learned in this company too, that our balance is equally balanced. We're all the same people. Like we all have families, and everyone
have other priorities, right?
Everyone's putting the priority in time management so that we can have a robust, fun time with our family. Everyone's ahead of the schedule in the game to schedule it out to work hard in the morning so that we can play harder at night with our family, day by day. Just take one day and grind it. And then take what you've learned today and apply it on your schedule the next day. And then take that morning. I mean, everyone has 3 hours in the morning when their kids are at school to grind it out, to figure out a pathway in real estate, and then to balance it around your family, and so that's so important to bring up too is I think that's, there's a buy-in, but that buy-in is also like, I'm also buying in my personal time with us, and we're all mutually putting in, our personal time, and we want, everything to be so fun every minute of our day for our children, for our work, for our customers, for our employer.
And it comes at a cost, whether that's monetarily or from your time.
Yeah.
And if you can have a healthy balance of the two of those.
No risk here, though.
That's kind of what we were talking about too, and that's why you brought earlier. You were talking about in business together. It's because of that. It's the financial risk is low to start here.
It is.
Whereas everything else, and that's why we talk to people all the time. We hear it and they don't realize all these other fees that it takes to either join somewhere else or to join a board, right? To do all these things. I'm like, that's just real estate. We've done what we've could to remove that, which actually brings up a little topic that I want to just like very lightly touch on is the cap. What do you thought about the cap, a one-time cap? Yeah.
So the cap is there. It's on the first 3 deals. It's a pretty minimal amount.
Yeah. But it's one time. That's it. It's a one time. It's not a recurring annual cap.
Yeah. You one time and it goes away for your life.
Yeah, right? Like how weird is that for real estate?
But you know what? It's not so weird. It's not too weird because there are caps in a lot of these. The cap is so low. It's like compared to a lot of realtors, a lot of agencies, I've learned the cap is very, very, very small.
Yeah.
I mean, you can take care of the cap within 3 deals.
Right. Well, that's why it's structured that way.
Yeah. However, you have a team lead that's there for you and like busting their butt though to show you dependence and credibility.
Yeah.
And they're very consistent in who they are. I think that's worth the cap. I think that's worth the leads that we get. I think that's worth your phone ringing.
Yeah.
For a real estate business. I think it's worth the future of where we're headed. I think it's worth the investment in vetted interest into digital. The market's always changing. If we can pay to play a little bit too.
Yeah.
As every real estate company
or
big business has to pay to get marketing and get leads or to generate, business, period.
I mean, just general
paper,
business.
just a mail.
Yeah, but the reason I ask is because obviously you're seasoned. You've come from other places. You've seen what caps may or may not look like, and it's one thing that we've gotten here that people are shocked at how low any kind of cap is, and it's not that the cap is like somewhere else where it's like, hey, it's just a general sales cap.
Yeah.
The cap actually is directly towards a program that you receive, just like you're talking about. You receive in abundance. So it's not just like you pissing in the wind. And that's why it doesn't reoccur annually is because it's just for a program to get you moving.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it makes plenty of sense. It does.
Yeah.
And you can make of it however you want to see it. Each person can make of it, but it's it's the limelight. It's what you're not seeing though.
Right.
I don't think it's anything to rest your hat on. It won't make you poor, but it's not making you any richer, but it's making you smarter and wiser.
Right.
And it's buying you into the team, and it's providing resources. I mean, there's a cap on everything. You pay in. I mean, okay, you go with 100% broker commission on everything. What do they give you? All right, where are they when you need help? Where do you go? Who do you call? You go with a 90-10 broker. Yeah. Fine. Cool. You go with a 90%, you pay $600 fee somewhere, right? Where are they?
Yeah.
I mean, who's your team? Like who can you
rely on?
Yeah, yeah. Have you been in real estate for 10 years? You need nobody. You can just walk into a neighborhood and they're like, I guarantee, if you've been selling real estate for 15 years, one of our employees could walk in and have more jive with the customer,
have more depth because they can call on multiple people
because we're always talking real estate in our office. It's just up to speed faster than the dinosaur of their 90-10. I mean, get out of here.
Did you have to? So when you were somewhere else, did you have to pay for a lot of things kind of out of pocket when you were
Absolutely.
Elsewhere? Yeah,
and I have. Yeah, all day long.
How much you paid out of pocket?
Oh man,
don't answer that.
Oh yeah,
but I'm
thousands.
Sure, yeah,
thousands.
Yeah,
thousands of dollars. Thousands. All right. So truth be told, it'll be 2 years of real estate for me in March. Next month, it'll be 2 years. Mm-hmm. Man, right out of the gate in March of, I had my first listing. It was like in March of 2021.
Heat of the market, too.
Yeah.
Heat of the market.
Got it. And then I kept going. Had one every month or two every month on my own. And I paid for leads, and I didn't even know what to do with them.
That's another problem. But yeah,
I had all of these leads, and I didn't know. Like I didn't have the headspace.
Right.
DJ has been on my tail.
Yeah.
At the ping pong party in St. August, like, you coming over here, right? Yeah. And like my dad's with one company, and I was thinking about going with another company, and like I knew deep down I needed to be here.
Right.
And coming from the car business, I needed to like.
You need to be somewhere where you
soil my loins a little bit.
Yeah, but you need to be somewhere where. No, but sure. But you need to be somewhere where.
Yeah, sure.
Well, that's when you have the dump button, so it's fine. But no, you need to be somewhere where you were with like-minded people and where you actually could learn what you needed to learn. Right, like you said, you're like, I know a ton,
right?
But at the same time, I know absolutely nothing,
right?
Because
and
I don't know what I don't know until someone says, hey, you're missing these 5 things.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think you made a huge point. And I mean, it's great to hear that you have all this interpretation, especially honestly,
so true.
We are less than 10 days, right?
I've never seen the company.
We're 8 days in.
He's been more plugged in the company as a president, owner of the company than any of the company presidents that have brought me on. Wow. I mean, I don't mean this in a dig.
No, but I would never know that. But yeah,
But he's more hands-on on a daily.
Yeah.
Present than how's Andy's growth doing.
Right.
I thought that the pursuit of these other companies that have brought me in would actually, honestly, bring me in and kind of cuddle me a little bit more than figuring it out on my own. And I figured it out on my own pretty damn good the 2 years. Like, I did damn good last year too. Full year, ran out of my sphere, practically. Like
in 2 years.
Yeah, like I mean, there's more to it, but
no, but I'm saying in 2 years, right? Like
his sphere is my sphere too. Like we remember the same people.
Yeah.
So it just like, okay, 2 years in real estate. Yeah. I needed some headspace to unpack the car business for 20 years.
Right.
I needed to surf. I needed time, and I thought that it would be, I thought I would gain a whole lot more than what I knew was here all along. Right. So there was a time when my wife and I just said, let's just turn the page. You're ready.
Yeah.
We have had so much fun with you leaving the car industry. The last 2 years have been the best 2 years of our lives. We spent more time together. We've fostered our relationship way better than any other couple probably in the state of Florida. We've had more fun than anyone else in the state of Florida.
Right.
I've sold more real estate than I could dream of.
Right.
And I know I'll sell the most real estate I could ever possibly imagine with this company. It was just, it was a perfect timing in our hearts of hearts.
Right.
And you lead with the heart.
Right.
And let your heart lead your mind. And then
I love that.
Success just is just right around the corner. You just got to put in the work to feed your heart. So.
I absolutely love that. Well, we've been shooting the you-know-what for quite a while now. We're stoked to have you. I mean, you're off to a crazy start. It's awesome. And you just got your shift pick, so you're about to have a ton more. So I can't wait to see your name on that leaderboard again. I just ran the numbers for the top.
I pulled out some really good customers out of the quality database that they gave me.
Dude, you're on fire.
A couple of listings and another buyer like right around the corner.
Let's go. Well, anyway, dude, we're stoked to have you. We're stoked to have you. We're stoked to watch your success.
Thank you.
We're glad that you had to go through what you went through to get here.
Yeah, thank you for that.
It's incredible to see that even people like yourself can come here.
I might get emotional and actually cry on camera.
No, we're good. No. But no, it's great to hear your interpretation, right? Somebody who's been outside and said, I also was a naysayer for a little bit, and now I'm like, dude, this is wild. This is so
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude. Anyway,
no shame in that game.
Yeah, love it. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Those of you who have watched. This podcast is sponsored by Audible. Audible is a great way for you to listen to books instead of read books because you're driving the car on your way to showings and you're just handling way too much stuff. Audible is a great way for you to expand your knowledge. You can get our referral link in the description below or go to, I think it's tryaudible.com/DJ&Lindsey, but I'll just hit the description in the link below. All right. Appreciate you guys. Andy, thank you again.
Yes, sir.
Later.
Beautiful.
Cake, right, dude?
Love it, man.
Easy. It's easy.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Thanks for that, man.
Yeah,
I enjoyed that a lot.
No doubt. But yeah, we'll do more, and we're trying to.
Can we do more, man?
Yeah,
Let's do more.
We're trying to set up this. It's going to be obviously on a smaller scale in the new office in St. Augustine.
That'd be awesome.
So in St. Augustine, the new studio is the vault.
What you need for the bottle of booze, man? I'm kidding.
Company card.
100%.
Is inside the vault, the old bank vault.
Okay.
That's where the
What now?
Yeah, that's where the studio is.
Oh, okay. So it is the bank that they're...
The bank? Yeah, they call it the bank.
Yeah.
The studio is the vault. They left the vault. So outside is this huge vault door just swung open.
That's going to be awesome.
It's going to be badass.
It's going to be rad.
If they ever fucking finish it.
I know. It's got a long ways to go in there, too.
Dude, have you been in there?
Yeah, no, but I drove by and they got the concrete thing in the back.
There's still a lot going on, but
I'm kind of nervous. I'm like, I love so much room for activities. Like,
you know my real story, man, of why I got into real estate?
No.
I got a divorce.
Okay.
So I was in the car industry for, I was running Bozart Lincoln, the Bozart store.
Oh yeah, I know.
The sales director for Lincoln. And my goal was to get in there. I didn't know you were bald, man. I didn't know you were bald.
Yeah,
it's a shaved head.
Yeah, sorry to hear that, man.
He's gonna punch me in the face.
It happens. Oh, dude. Trust me, dude.
He's embraced the
running the Bozart Lincoln thing, and I always wanted to get into real estate anyway. Like, I had real estate deals, got like a rental out there that we got. My dad was into it, always had tons of shit. But my wife at the time was just a piece of shit. And I'm like a stick to, like, hey, we gotta, get through this together. You guys married or anything? You're married?
He just got married in November. Yeah.
Well, like, we weren't best friends before we got married. Like, probably you and your wife to be, which I'm not degrading marriage by any means. I'm a leader in marriage. I'm remarried.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. And then, so anyway, I was making great money, and she wanted the money and wanted to divorce me, so I'd pay her child support alimony, right?
Yeah, right.
And I would have lost my 2 kids in custody dispute because I would have had to keep the schedule.
Yeah, right.
And I didn't have Saturday and Sundays, and so,
Jeez.
I would have been like a Thursday and every other weekend dad. And I'm not that kind of guy.
Yeah.
So I resigned.
So right. So you
So
have
I
free schedule.
resigned.
Yeah.
And so she filed, I resigned in 2021. 2020, yeah, 2022.
Okay.
January of 2022, I resigned.
Damn.
And then I got like $40,000 washout check from December. Like, that was my check. Like, making that kind of money.
Yeah.
And then
That's crazy.
the divorce took place. I moved out. My family and I partnered in, bought a home together so I could have a safe place. I battled her for the custody of the kids. Like, I was in agreement to get the divorce by then anyway. Got the 50-50. Then I moved out. Got my real estate license, joined Keller Williams in March. Moved out, and that's why I couldn't come here, because I couldn't.
Yeah, right. Physically.
I couldn't.
Yeah.
I just couldn't, and I needed space. I met my wife then, same age, same crew.
Right.
Married 16 years, 3 kids. Just finished her divorce. We met on Bumble
Yeah.
in January of 2021. We dated a whole year and a half. We got married last year, June. And happy as a pea. Like, we're
right.
Like, you would have never. And so like that's
that's
your the heart of hearts. So
that's your journey.
I did it for my kids. And
Damn.
I'm doing it because I'm a dad and a good man.
Everybody says you have to have a strong why, and obviously that's a huge why.
I can't get into that because I'll.
You'll lose it. No, but I mean,
But I wanted you to know.
No, thank you for sharing that. It's incredible. I mean, it's funny they say a lot of people have to go through shit. I actually went through not the same shit. I have no kids, but I actually moved here. So I'm from New Jersey, and when I said we moved here, I moved here with my girlfriend at the time, who was like $1 million heiress basically from Manhattan, and her family, she worked in the bar industry. I pulled her out from behind the bar, and her family's like, you have to go back to school, blah, blah, blah. So we moved down here. My parents had bought a house in Treasure Beach, trailer in Treasure Beach,
cool.
Because they wanted to wax it, build.
Yeah.
And so we moved down here. She starts going to school. I'm just freelancing, whatever. And brings us all the way through to 2020. We get engaged December 2020 after I had actually a really good year with DJ&Lindsey. And we get engaged, and 7 months later, she was actually on her own bachelorette party and was just like hooked up with an old person. Was just like, yeah, like I'm out, like, you know, I don't think I want to get married, whatever. So like, and I didn't see it. Like,
literally start going back to New York every other weekend.
Dude, it was
man.
blindly.
Man.
And I only found out because 2 girls who used to work here were really good friends with her, and they actually told me while we were in this like weird separate thing. I was obviously here and she was home because I was working.
Yeah.
And they were like, hey, like, you know, this, that, and the other. So like I went through